वाटरशेड का ये मतलब होता है कि पानी गिरता है और एक हम कॉमन पॉइंट पे जहाँ पे मेजरमेंट कर रहे हैं, तो वहां तक कितना पानी पहुंचता है और कितना एरिया उसको कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा है, उस एरिया को हम कहते हैं वाटरशेड। तो वो एक वाटरशेड का डेफिनेशन हमने लास्ट टाइम देखा था। मैं आपको पूरा प्रोजेक्ट बताऊंगा, एप्लीकेशन बताऊंगा कि हम कैसे इसको नेचुरल रिसोर्स में यूज कर सकते हैं। These are the different points or the steps we are going to follow in automatic delineation of watershed. And last time we have seen the depressionless GM we want to create, and then second we will see that how the flow directions are done, then how the flow accumulation is carried out, then we will derive the drainage network automatically. It's very difficult onto the field if you go and drive and derive the drainage. It's like 1 month, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year job, depending upon the size of the catchment. So we are deriving the drainage network automatically from the DEM, and then we'll delineate the watershed. Then we'll see some of the properties of the watershed. So these are the steps which need to be followed while delineating the watershed. So first step is that depressionless DM. So we need to remove the depressions which are there onto the DEM, because all the points are not contributing to the pour point. All the points are not contributing to the pour point or the water into the watershed. So that is what is the meaning of this, that if we have a raster image, I have shown this last time, and there are certain depressions here, then we have to remove. We will remove only if these are by error. These has been introduced by error. Suppose in marking this 618 elevation here, this has been marked because of some error, that we should be wise enough to locate whether this is a natural. So I was saying that we should be wise enough to detect whether this depression, this is the lowest RL 618. If you examine this grid, all the cells of grid 7 by 7 grid, then this is the lowest, and this lowest is not flowing the water, means we do not find any other point lower than this RL. Then if there is rainfall, then where this water will go? Nowhere. The water will remain here only. If it is a natural depression there onto the ground within the watershed, then water will infiltrate into the land and then need not be removed. Mind it. If this 618, there could be a small pit within the watershed having a RL of 618, then should we remove? Not at all. But certain things which are like, if it is suppose 608, 600 and say 508, somebody has written 500, so such big depression. So while we are doing this kind of GIS application, then 508 RL, suppose 518 RL, so that is too less, and lot of water will get accumulated in our algorithm. Actually, which that phenomena is not happening onto the ground. But in that case, we have to remove such points which are not of some meaning. So here 618, this water, because all surrounding cells are having the RL of 619. So that is what is the important thing, that this is a local depression. This is a local depression on the ground, or only in data which might have been created because of some error in extracting the RLs through interpolation or extrapolation we were discussing. So I show you the next slide. Yeah, as I have shown last time, these are marked red and then one purple 618. We need to remove. Suppose we assume this is an error. This is not a natural depression there onto the ground. Then what we do? We remove it, and we remove it by increasing the RL of those areas which are having list RL. So we'll increase this 618 to, suppose I increase it by 19, then 19, again 19, 619, these are 619, and the surrounding cells, none of them are 619 or less. So here water won't go again. So what is the list? 620. Here you look at 620. This is list. So we should increase all these cells by 620. Then this 620 water will flow into this direction and will come out of this area. And this is 619, lesser than 620. So we have increased here 620. Now this is flat terrain. 610, all the points are having RL of 620, means this is a flat terrain. So we need to move this water. So in algorithm, we increase all these RLs by a certain amount called delta, and then delta will this 620 plus psi, then 620 plus double psi and double delta, and then this water is moving. This is becoming a flow direction. And in this way, we are removing the sink which has been created because of the wrong entry of data, wrong extraction of data, you keep in mind. And this removal of flat areas also taking place. Now I am taking you to the second level of automatic watershed delineation, and in that is the flow direction, that in which direction flow is taking place. In the previous, we have seen that flow would take place from higher RL to the lower RL. In this, I would explain you that here there is one important thing you keep in mind, that not only the higher RL, but higher RL in how much distance the difference of RL is taking place. Suppose 620 to 619, and then there is adjoining cells. Then 620 to 618. So drop of 2 cells within surrounding. So here you understand this statement. Flow direction for each cell is determined by identifying the neighboring cell which has the highest positive distance weighted drop. Drop of 622, 619, 622, 618, 622, 617. So which is having more weighted drop, distance weighted drop. So within given distance, how much drop is taking place, that should be taken, and we determine the flow. So to determine the flow, we have to have a kind of algorithm setup which should function in GIS, and we mark it. Suppose we want to know that a particular cell X, in which direction it would flow, then we mark it. If it is flowing into, say, east direction, then we mark it 1. If it is flowing towards south, we mark it 4. If it is flowing in the west direction, we mark it by 16. If it is flowing by north, then we mark it by 64, and 4 more directions. So nearby, each cell is surrounded by 8 cells, and we give them direction. This direction is given 1 number, this direction is given 2 number, this direction is given 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Now each cell should be mentioned that in which direction it flows. So X for this is for cell X. Now look at, this is a grid. We have taken new grid. That earlier grid was 7 by 7, and this grid is something 11 by 11. And all the values all the cells are having RL values. Depending upon RL values, that in which direction this would flow, we have marked it. So this 4 means what? 1, 2, 4. So it is flowing southward. Look at, the first cell is marked with 4. Likewise, this is marked with 8. 8 means 1, 2, 4, 8. This is south of west, diagonally downward direction, this flow. This is 1, means east. So each cell, this is 1, east. So each cell is marked that in which direction it would flow. Now, as they flow, say, suppose this is flowing 4 downward, isn't it? This is also 4 downward. This is southwest of south, or you can say southwest. This third cell where my cursor is, then is it visible? My cursor is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this 8 would flow in southwest direction. So that is what very interesting. This is a kind of artificial intelligence we are creating in GIS, that how the algorithm would work. So 8 would flow in this direction. Now in the next direction, you would see that flow is taking place. Now look at, flow is getting accumulated. This is flow direction, that a particular cell would flow in that direction. We have marked. Now, depending upon that direction would flow. So each cell is flowing in that particular direction. So suppose this, I take this cell, this would flow in this direction. So this is getting accumulated here one, then again this cell would flow in this direction, then it is contributing this, plus this 8 is going in that direction. So if I assume that I take, you remember just first 3, 4, 4, 8, and here is also 4, 4, 8. First 3 columns and first 2 rows data is 4, 4, 8, 4, 4, 8. Okay. Now look at how the flow is getting accumulated. Now into this cell, none of the water is coming into. It is contributing to lower 4. This is also contributing to lower 4, and this was contributing 8. So it's the southwest contributing to it. So this cell is getting 2 contribution. Is that clear, Navdeep? It's a very
Yes,
tricky.
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
okay, so this is contributing to this, this is contributing to this, so this has become 2. Likewise, if we go down, then each cell, this cell getting contribution from 5 surrounding cells. The flow of 5 cells is getting contributed. What is cell? Cell represents the geography, land. The water falling onto it, said that water is getting into this. Now, if I look into, then highest contribution is here. If I come down, then the last column, you look at this cell gets contribution of 92 cells. 92 cells means larger area. Then this cell get 89. So definitely this cell would contribute. So this is getting of 92, but till this point 89 are getting accumulated. Now this is getting contribution of 88. So this flow is getting got accumulated, but this flow is not contributing. If you see the last column, last row, then 4 is there. This is a separate kind of system. This water is not getting accumulated into this. Is that okay? Likewise, if I see here last column, third row, then it is 4. And this 4 is not increasing in any other direction. So this water gets accumulated. There may be separate discharge here onto the right side. We have limited area here mentioned. This may be this limited area. This is contributing to another drainage line. So this 92 is the highest in given grid. In this grid, if I go backward, if I trace backward, 89, 88 cells are contributing. Now 66 cells are contributing, 46 cells are contributing. Now I stop here on to 66. Okay. Now look at 66. 66 is 19 here, 14 here, 46 here. So these 3 cells might be contributing here. This 46 definitely not contributing here. This water is going somewhere. So nearby cell is this. So this 3 is contributing this, 46 is contributing this, 14 is contributing into this, and 19 is contributing this. So all becoming 66, and then it is contributing to 88, this here. Or might be this 19 is directly contributing to 88, not into this, and 46 plus 14, how much is that? 46, 50, 60, and 62, and then 3 here, so 66. So definitely 19 is going to directly into this. So in this way you could see. So this is backward, and this describe your drainage network. So in the next slide, we are going to see that how drainages are created through flow accumulation. So as we get more and more cell contributing to next cells, then we go backward that how many drainage. So I show you the next drainage, how to create drainage. Now look at this, apply threshold. I go back to the slide. Threshold means what? If I want to create a drainage network, then how many drainage network I want on my piece of paper? There onto the ground, every point, every cell is contributing to another, having a kind of drainage network. So a small gullies are created. When there is rainfall, then small gullies are created, water flows, and then bigger becomes. So likewise, if I take this corner, the last column, third row, then there is also a kind of drainage. And that drainage is here. If I take a threshold of 4, then drainage here. If I take a threshold of 1, then all these drainage would be created. All these drainage would be created. If I take a threshold of 4, then 4 would be a point only. If I take a threshold of more than 4, say 5 or 6, threshold is 6, then 92, 89, 88, 66, 46, 28, all these 13, all these would be marked, and this would be a line, drainage line, or you could say a stream. This would be created automatically in GIS depending upon threshold. Threshold would define that up to which order you want to eliminate. If you take a higher threshold, threshold is a value up to which you want to take into things consideration. Mind it, this is very tricky thing. The students doesn't get in mind what is threshold. So threshold is a value above which we want to consider into our calculation. Okay, so that is what is the understanding. So this is threshold. Now this is again a DEM. As I said, I would show you the different DEMs, different sources of DEM, and how to create this DEM using geographic information system. The earlier slide which shown the DEM was a three-dimensional view. This is a two-dimensional view. These shades represent the variation. These are hill shades as well as the variation of their height. That height is increasing or decreasing. Since there is a drainage drawn here, so definitely it is a lowest level. So levels are going up, up, up here. So this is on the top of the kind of a hill. If you could see it in your computer or in your mobile, so this is highest point, and these are the lowest point. Now coming to drainage, this grid doesn't represent the earlier grid I have shown, 11 by 11 grid values of RLs. Don't compare it with that. This is a different DEM, not representing the same grid, because in the earlier grid the drainage was onto the east, the river was flowing towards the east. Here, if I take a threshold value and I draw the drainage, automatic drainage, then this kind of drainage would appear onto your screen when you are doing the calculation. So this kind of drainage. So here the drains are flowing towards west, isn't it? These all are flow is taking place in this direction. So highest accumulation of water would be here, like 96 in the earlier slide would be here, somewhere here. Now this, look at this small drainage. This depends upon the threshold. As I said, if I take more than 4, then 4 won't appear. If I consider each and every one, then each and every drainage having any kind of flow, even minutest flow, would appear onto the screen. And this is a separate drainage here, which is going in other direction. It is not contributing to this channel. Now here you look at this. I'm focusing onto this particular point here. This is one drainage going in this direction, and another drainage coming and joining here. This is called a node. This is called a node. As I said, I explained you nodes and other points of intersection while studying the vector. So this is automatically created vector. So this joining here, and then this singularly going here and join which the river coming or stream coming onto this direction here. So this describe your drainage network pattern, drainage network order, stream order. I would show you in the subsequent slide that how the ordering is done. So now, depending upon this drainage network, we have to draw the watershed. We have to draw the watershed. It's a very simple process in GIS to draw watershed, which otherwise is a clumsy, boring process of doing in engineering, say, working on the same one line or drawing for the months. Rather, you do it in a click of second. If you just put a 4-point here and give a command in GIS, it will draw a kind of watershed, complete area for you, just in a matter of minutes. Now, suppose this is a drainage network, and I select this point as 4-point. 4-point means the point at which I'm constructing my weir, the point at which I want to construct a dam, point at which I want to measure the flow. That is a 4-point, point of interest. where you are working, you are conducting, carrying out your civil engineering project is the pour point. So are you now in position to connect it, that how the geography, how the water resources are affecting the civil structures, infrastructures, that I want to create a kind of a dam here, then I would click here. I would say that this is my pour point, that how much water all the drain contributing to this point. So definitely this is a different drain and going in the other direction. If I select this point, then not contributing. So these all would be selected and would be created. So pour point is nothing. Pour point is nothing but a point of interest where we want to construct a infrastructure uh, infrastructure building, or kind of a dam or a weir or anything else you want to create. So PowerPoint selection is that. This is how the different PowerPoints and their selection is mentioned here, which I just explained. Just a kind of theory, you could read it. I keep it for 30 seconds and then I will move to the next slide. Now look at this. As I explained to you, the stream ordering, I have shown you that streams are marked. Like in the previous slide, it is mentioned that the stream ordering can be done by a method called Horton-Strehler stream ordering procedure. This is where big names. These are engineers who might have worked on the stream ordering. There are 3-4 methods of stream ordering. Ordering is nothing but giving a stream number in our study area. After drainage network has been brought into GIS screen, then what is done? Like this is the first order stream, the starting point. That depends upon again threshold value. If you have threshold different, then your order would change. Mind it well, in hydrology, you should comprehend these things, that geography, then the watershed, then the hydrology, all are relative things where your wise decision could only deliberately explain. As this statement was also given by Vivek Kapadia sir, that how much water is there in the Gujarat, nobody knows. If I say this much, then everybody would consider sir is right or Vivek Kapadia sir is right. And when you become, say, engineer, and in 2-3 years you would say that in Kadana Dam this much is the water after certain calculation, mostly nobody is going to challenge you. They would accept your, but you should be wise enough in giving the data, facts, and figures. If deviation is more, then definitely you would be challenged, and in that case there could be severe penalties. So mind it that you are not going deviating more than 2-3%, 5%. Up till that error is acceptable. If you say 50% of the flow are there, then no, no, no. So in 7th semester, I'm giving you this tip. Understand it well, that whenever you are doing play in 5% error only, don't give wrong data which are really say disturb somebody's peace. Those who are working, other people are working, other departments are working on the same project, they would then raise the doubts on your studies. It may take again 6 months, 1 year to defy your findings, but take care. So this is one, this is first order stream, then they are meeting and they create, then this is a second order stream, then second order stream is going in this way, and this is joining a third order stream here. So this remains third. So are you getting this? Two same order streams, if joined, then creates a next order stream. If one lower and one higher order stream joins, like this is a order 2 stream and this is order 3 stream, they join, then it remains order 3 stream. It is not increasing the order of a stream. This is one order stream joining third order stream, order is not increasing. This one order and 2 order creating 2 order. This stream order 2, this is stream order 2, this remains 2. This 2 and 2, if joining here in the junction point, then creates a 3 order. This is a Horton-Strehler ordering, stream ordering methodology. Remember the name. It's a simple, explained here. So you could, if you read book, then there could be like 5 pages in explaining such kind of thing. So take care. Now, depending, as I said, I take the watershed power point here, then what would be created? The watershed. Now, this is coming up the watershed demarcation or delineation or drawing of the watershed. So, demarcation, watershed delineation, or something like that. Then you go through these points. PowerPoint I have already explained to you. And this is something theory, and this comes out to be like this above picture. If you could see this picture here, then this is the delineation of watershed. The watershed means watershed and sub watershed appear onto the screen. I would explain you what they are. When we select PowerPoint, then whole things would be defined. Then this is the watershed, and outside this is not the watershed. This is not the portion of watershed. Only these small watershed are called sub watershed, and combinedly, all these constitute the whole watershed. Whole watershed. So there are how many so many sub watershed. This is the data table, and their length. Then characteristics are also appear: width, length, then coordinates of different watershed, 4 points, and such on. How these sub watershed appear? This I haven't given you clue that watershed and sub watershed how they are created. Now I am taking you to this again, the same streaming order, drainage generation and the streaming order. Suppose I have selected here the 4 point, then this would generate this watershed, whole watershed. This area might not be contributing to this, so this area won't be part of the watershed. This area won't be part of the watershed. Only this area is contributing, and this line up to which the water is falling into our watershed is called ridge line or watershed line. Ridge line or watershed line or divide line, because divide line, this divides every every point every point on the surface of earth is falling into some watershed. So this point here, this point may be into the our watershed or in some other watershed. So that they are divided by a divide line or a ridge line. Ridge line is the top line on which if water precipitate, then it may either go to that side or this side. All other points are perfectly, say, this watershed or that watershed. Like the Tapi River and the Narmada River, they have their own watershed. Watershed in US they call it catchment. In the UK they call it watershed. Mostly in India, when its area is small, then we call it as a watershed. And if area is large, like Narmada, 1 lakh square kilometer of the catchment, then large, then we call catchment, river catchment. And watershed, when we do carry out scientific study like this GIS, we call it a watershed, where area is hardly say 10 square kilometer or say 100 square kilometer, not like that of a 1 lakh square kilometer. So you keep this thumb rules in your mind that when catchment somebody is discussing, then they are discussing the whole river valley catchment is large, and then watershed is this. Then watershed and sub watershed and then micro watersheds, and these are some terminology used in the major projects. So if I draw watershed here, then these are also junction points. You look at these also become pore points. These also become pore points. And suppose if this 2 is pore point within the watershed, then it will decide that this is sub watershed here. Surrounding this drainage, there would be its sub watershed. Likewise, if I take this one, then and this drainage 1 to 2, then it will have its own sub watershed. And sub watershed again depends upon the threshold value. If there is only a small drainage network contributing somewhere, say length of this drainage is very small, and we are eliminating it, we could, depending upon our threshold value. So a watershed is divided into sub watersheds. Number of sub watersheds created may be say 4 or 10 or 20 or maybe in hundreds, depending upon the threshold value we give it while creating. So I assume that you might have understood how GIS helping us in creation of the drainage network, and from the drainage network the watershed and sub watershed. And these sub watershed when created help us in creating civil infrastructure